Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Heather, zone 7B-ish, kind of 8 sometimes. So for today's video, it's going to be a garden tour of what things look like right now in this moment before first frost. It is quickly approaching. I've got 2, maybe 3 days max to do about 500 different things. I'm going to put down on the screen here what this video is going to focus on, what area of my property. So I'll probably break the garden tour into maybe 2 or 3 videos, but I'm glad you're here. I hope we both find this therapeutic. It's very sad right now, right, to go into first frost. So I want to just capture the way things are right now at this moment. We're early November. It's like November 7th. It might be the 8th today. I haven't even looked at the calendar yet. I'm just got dressed, ran out here to get busy. All right, well, let's get started. In the video prior to this one, I covered the whole backyard. So if you're interested, it's easily to find on the channel. So I'm picking up where we left off, and we're going to start with what I call my raised bed area. So I do grow some vegetables in this area, and it's kind of a mess right now, and I'm making some transitions. This bed is going to become like a cold frame for the upcoming winter, and I will be planting some seeds. I think I'm going to do like carrots and lettuce and onion. And this bed that we're kind of looking at now is my green pepper bed. I'm not overwintering my peppers this year, unfortunately. So I'm just going to cut them at the soil level after we harvest whatever's remaining. This bed usually does pretty well as a pepper bed, a sweet pepper bed. And it's been pretty productive. I think I've gotten several good harvests off of this bed, and then a few here and there. I've also got some basil. We can harvest a little bit of that. It will die with the first frost. And in this bed, I've got 6 broccoli plants, and I have an open space in the front. I did sprinkle some really old cauliflower seeds about 6 weeks ago, but nothing has germinated. So I need to put a little something in that space. Maybe some beets or radishes. Could be a good idea. But yeah, I have to say goodbye. Bye, pepper bed. It was really nice. But I did recycle all the plants for a project in the backyard that I'm working on. I had to dig up a bed. So we're using the peppers plants as filler. You can see the basil and the peppers that I got from that bed as well. And so now we're going to move into the tomato tunnel, and it is quickly coming to an end. I am going to harvest any cherry tomatoes I can find. There was one green tomato I could go ahead and get as well. And you can see the radishes are looking good. Marigolds over here because I've got a problem with some root knot nematode. I'm going to put mustard. We're going to go plant some mustard here now that all of this tomatoes are coming out. Those beans, they're not going to survive after first frost. That was an experiment that I tried. And yeah, we got to say goodbye. Goodbye, beautiful golden cherry tomatoes. Next year, though, just one variety. I had 3 growing this year. It was way too many of that flavor, of that color. There's that one tomato. We will just have to pick him green. And I do have a golden Marconi over here. We also need to get harvested. There are quite a few peppers on there. And there are quite a few weeds in this radish bed. Ah, and then a squirrel. A squirrel took one of my ripe tomatoes, took one bite, and just threw it down to the ground. I hate when they do that. I don't mind sharing, but please just take the whole tomato. Don't just take one bite. And now we have a different perspective viewpoint of the raised bed area. You can see the opening of the tunnel from this side. And there's another golden Marconi that got so tall, really, really tall. Lots of big fruits on there. We need to pick all of those. And again, I'm not overwintering my peppers. It's so sad. It really was a debate for me to make that decision, but I have made that decision. I got that at the Goodwill bins. That is a solid cast iron thermometer, like temperature gauge for outdoors. It was a great deal, and it actually works, which I thought I was going to have to replace the mechanism, but it actually works. So that was a good find for outdoor in the garden. Now I've got a couple cabbages here, and there was one in that container on the other side as well. And yeah, this mountain mint, I've got to move it. I was just kind of working on that and switching out some pots. These are some collard greens I need to move to the backyard. Just some little starts. And this cayenne's coming out. There's a few peppers on there to pick. These beans, bush beans, are coming out as well. That was an experiment. Did not make it to actually producing bean pods. This, though, was a great find. This is a volunteer, what is it called? Let me think. Blue mist flower. Native here for me. So it's in a pot. I'm going to save the seeds. I'm going to sprinkle them everywhere. It's so pretty and a great late season pollinator. You can see there were a few more peppers and an eggplant over there. And this pot here has all new soil that did have grubs in it, but I cleaned it out and did recycle the soil, and I fed the grubs to the birds. Now, these beans are a different variety. They are Red Swan, and they actually did make it to making some pods, but not very many. I probably needed to plant these about 2 weeks earlier than what I did, so I will make a note about that. Was just doing some experimenting, you know, about 6 to 8 weeks ago with late planting of summer items. Now we need to get all of these chocolate beauty peppers off. There are quite a few, and some are really looking gorgeous, like this guy right here. Beautiful brown color. These actually have kind of a decent flavor too. So I think I may add this variety into my rotation. Now this zinnia here will obviously get affected. First frost. I do have a new hardy hibiscus in that container I just looked at. This was also an experiment. I actually transplanted the squash plant, and it did survive. It looked rough for so long. It has not had enough time to do anything though. But look at that little baby tromboncino there. First frost will take it out. This gypsy pepper will be just cut to soil level. And then this container also has some more of those Red Swan beans. I do think a little more time, they could have done something. When the season gets this late, powdery mildew is very common on zinnias and other plants, as you can see here. They still look so pretty. I'm not going to bring them inside or anything, but I'm just admiring them one last time. I did find one underripe tomato baby and a little squash baby in this area. But we picked a whole big bowl of peppers and some beans, which is great. And then I picked these poblanos as well. Continuing on the side yard next to the driveway, we have a few more things that I've neglected all summer. I've had a little tomato plant back here and some peppers. Mostly the deer have used this area as their little munching station. So I was able to get a few cherry tomatoes from this plant, no peppers from this plant. You can see that my lemongrass is also ready to be harvested before first frost. It's not as big as the one from last year. Not sure why. And then I spun around to show you a view of this area that I've neglected as well. Now, in the main front yard center area underneath a cherry tree, I have these 6 planters of peppers. And for the most part, the deer actually leave these alone because they're all hot peppers. I've got jalapenos in 4 containers and poblanos in 2 containers. We are going to go ahead and pick all of these peppers, these jalapeno peppers, because, you know, we don't want them to get frost damage with our cold night ahead. And if we spin around, we will walk up to the front of the house, and there I have 2 hot banana peppers, and they were pretty productive all summer. They have kind of simmered down slightly, but there are a few we can pick. And there's one lonely flowering lavender stalk. I am just going to go ahead and cut it because it's so pretty. And magically we end up over here on the side of my house. This has been a totally neglected area. You can see I even have a pine tree growing because I've not weeded this area. I've not taken care of it since January of 2024. That is a big project ahead for me. It is so completely overgrown, and I'm not even going to think about it right now. But I wanted to include it in kind of this general tour just to know where I'm starting at as we go from fall eventually into winter. Now, way down by my driveway, I was standing on the road taking this clip, is another section of the side yard to the right of the driveway. This is the left of the driveway, and I need to work on this area as well. This red twig dogwood here in the center will get cut down, and now magically we've made it over to the center bed in front of the house, where the peppers are, in front of that cherry tree in the front. But I wanted to show you the pineapple sage and the African blue basil. Both of these will get hit hard from the first frost and will not look like this any longer. I do have a peony I transplanted here in the spring. I need to cut that way down. You can see it's got powdery mildew. They are prone to that, and they really do need to get cut down in the fall. My aster is done blooming. Now, another perspective of that same bed, but the far left side, I've got a pomegranate tree that is losing its leaves. They're yellow right now, and it is deciduous. It will lose all of those leaves. And also that Rose of Sharon. They both need to get pruned when they're dormant in the winter, and I will be doing that soon. Another last look at the African blue basil on the left side bed. So I have a main giant bed in the center of the house, and then one to the left that kind of comes up the property line, and we're kind of walking up the property line right now. This area has also been neglected all summer, as most things in the front yard, because I did have those 2 yellow jacket attacks, and I was really afraid to go out and do a lot of work this summer in these areas. This is feverfew. You can see I've got lots of oregano taken over this bed. This is a big issue that needs to get addressed. I mean, there's like a ton of oregano, right? And there's a few other things too. There were peonies in that area. They got to get cut back as well. There's some dahlias in through here. There was some blazing star. This is from my rattlesnake master. We need to save some of those seeds. It looks like I'm just kind of sprinkling a few of them there. And my one and only Mexican sunflower, Tithonia. It was a volunteer. I had 2, but my other one that was on the other side of the yard, my husband cut down with the weed eater. My artichokes, I need to insulate them. Doesn't have to happen before our light first frost. I think we're only going down to like 29, 31, but it does need to get insulated for winter, and I will be doing that really, really soon. But one last look at the beautiful Mexican sunflower flowers. So pretty. And then the cannas did great this year, all on their own. No help from me, which is always a blessing. I may or may not save these seeds. I did save some last year, so I don't know if I really need them, but I might. Why not, right? More lemon balm. Lemon balm is everywhere on my property. It is very invasive for me. And we already looked at this area. We're not going to look at that area again. So let's just kind of follow this bed, and I do desperately need to work on it. Again, there's that Rose of Sharon. It needs to get pruned. I want it to be more like a tree than a shrub. And then also we're going to get a back view again of that pomegranate that needs to get trimmed desperately as well. There are some dahlias in this bed. You can see there is one yellow one flower right there. There's 2 different dahlia plants, both yellow. I relocated the purple one. I've got lots of gladiolas in this bed. This is called Blue Star. It changes colors throughout the season. There's a rose in that pot. And then again, another view of these peppers, jalapenos we need to go pick. And now up by the front of the house, I have just a hodgepodge of a mess in this front flower bed. I need to work on it. I've got gomphrena that will not like the frost. There's a kale, lots of celosia that maybe I'll save some seeds from. Blackberry lily. I thought I got all of the seeds. It looks like there's still one pod that did open. And yeah, front porch, I did work on it some a couple weeks ago. It looks more fall now than Halloween. My knockout rose there behind the bird bath, and it looks really pretty. It's doing great in the fall. And this is a different viewpoint of the walkway. Coleus will definitely get taken out with that first frost. Need to get that blueberry planted. I'm going to plant it along this walkway as well. And I still need to weed this front section of this back bed where the rose is. I did work on the back side about 2 months ago. And those seeds look ready on that celosia, so that's good. The birds, I don't know if they eat the seeds or not, but I'm going to say maybe. And yeah, so that's it. I hope that you enjoy this chaotic, disorganized tour. I'll be back soon, guys. I got so many projects that still need to get done in the fall. All right. I hope you're having a great week. Bye.